Hey guys, welcome to DSA-n-Design, and today we will look at one more problem on array, and this particular problem is basically popularly known as range sum query. All right, we'll try to understand what it means basically range sum query, right? So first let's try to understand the problem, right? So you are given an integer array A of length n, right, which is this array, right? And then you are also given a 2D integer array B with the dimension m into 2, right? So this is the B array, right, which whose dimension is basically m into 2, right? So m by 2, this array, where each row denotes L and R. So basically here is left and here is right. So each of this array, right, there are two elements. One is basically left and right basically. All right. Now what we have to do is for each query. So for example, this is one query, right? And so for each query, we have to find the sum of all elements from L to R indices in A. Okay. So what it means, let's try to understand first. Okay. So for example, this is my array. Okay. Now they have given this array. So there are two query, right? This is one query and this is another query. Now this is L, right? This is L and this is R. I have to find the sum between left and right in this particular array. So index number 0, which is basically this, right, to index number 4, which is basically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, right? So basically I have to find the sum of this between this to this element, right? I mean including this as well, right? So 1, 2, which is 3 and 3 and 6, and then this is 10. Okay, sorry, 4, index 4, right? So this is basically 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 index wise, right? So which means basically 0 to 4 means all the elements I have to add up, because from here to here it's basically 15. So answer is 15. And there is another query also, right? So let's say here in this query there are two query. One is this one, and the other one is starting from index number 1 to 3. So from here to here. So 2 plus 3 5 plus 4 9, right? So this is the answer, and this is the output. Again, this is basically going to be array. We have to return in basically array. Okay, so hopefully you got this understanding. Okay, what exactly this means, right? So what should be basically the approach for this, right? So let's try to understand little bit approach, right? So what we have to do is essentially here, uh, we have to iterate through this query. For example, these are the query, right? So let's say these are Q queries. All right. Now I have to actually take each of this query and extract left and right, and then in my inner for loop, I have to basically just count it, right? So something like, so let's do one thing. Let's directly go to IntelliJ and try to basically see how we can actually solve this, right? That is better option basically, right? So let's try to, so we understood the problem. Now we will go to IntelliJ and we will write one uh, class, and then we will try to solve this problem. Okay. So this is range sum. Okay, range sum query. All right, so here is it. Let's say, so what I'm going to return here is, first of all, I'm going to return integer array, right? Integer array. That's why I'm going to say here public int, I will say range sum. Okay, range sum, something like this. I'm just giving this function. Okay. Now inside this I am going to supply two things. Okay, array A and array B, correct? Now what I'm going to do is here, obviously in my main I'm just going to call this particular function, and I'm going to get the return. Okay, first of all, so first let's try to implement this, right? So as I said, I have to basically take each of this query and then iterate over my array and get the sum, right? So that is the very simple thing, right? So what I have to do, first of all, I have to check how many queries are there first of all, right? So let's say I say Q is my query, and B dot length, which will tell me like how many queries are there basically, right? So this is what it will give me. Now I will take how many elements are there in my array A as well, right? All right. So now what I will do is I will take, so what I have to return integer array, right? So I will take one answer which will be again integer, and what should be the size of this particular integer, right? So how many queries will be there? Now that many. So if you look at here, no, there are two query, right? So one is this query and this query. So answer is also basically how many queries are there, that many answer will be there, like in this array, right? So 15 and 9, right? If these queries are 3, then the output also will be 3. Okay, 3 different element in the array, right? So what my this will be basically q query, correct? Simple, because q is the length of the query, right? Now what we will do is basically we will try to again now we will try to iterate it. Okay, so I'll say int I equal to 0 and I is less than q I plus plus. Okay, because we are iterating through the queries first, right? Now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the L left, because between left and right for each query I will find left and right. So this is my left and this is right. So in this query, this is left, this is right. Here this is left and this is right. So how do we extract left and right from this 2D array? Okay, so the way is L is basically I will say B and I. Okay, this is my basically row, and column is going to be fixed because it's m by 2, no, m cross 2, correct? So column will be what, basically 0 and 1 only, right? So right will be uh, all right, and then right will be 1. So this is what we got left and right. Now the job is very simple. Now we got L and R. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sum, because for each of this query I'm going to take a sum, right? So sum equal to, I'm starting from 0. Okay, now int j equal to let's start from L only, right? It should be starting from L only. J is less than or equal to, again, right, j plus plus, guys. Okay, okay, just be with here, we will actually dry run as well, right? So don't worry too much about it. Now I will just add up, right? What I'm going to add, I'm going to add the sum with each element, because then I am actually able to get between L and R, right? Between this I am actually going to get the sum. Now once I get a sum, what I'm going to do, I'm going to store in my answer, right? So idx, okay, idx is not here, so what I will do, I will take one start index for the answer. Basically answer array starting index will be this. Okay, fine, we got it. Okay, now I'm going to store sum, basically that's all. Basically now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to just return answer. That's it, guys. Let me just try to run it and see if it is working fine, right? So okay, I think I need to again store in, let me just store it in one of the array, basically, right? So what I'm going to do is here and some a and b. Okay, let me put a and b here as well, right? So I have to give this a equal to 1 2 3 4 5, simple. Okay, we will take this very same example, okay, so that you know it's very easy for us to dry run as well. So what is that, 0 4 and 1 3, basically. All right, inside this 0 4 and okay, 1 and 3. All right, so we got this. This is very perfect. All right, range sum. And guys, why it is, oh, this should be static, right? So that is the problem, public static, because we are calling inside the static, no? Okay, so why is this creating a problem now? Oh, okay, this should be 2D array, no? Perfect now. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just print the array, right? So how I'm going to print, I can just run a for loop here, right? Int e something like this. let me use this advanced for loop, and then I'll just print this, guys, right? So what I get it basically I'll come to know, right? So okay, in this case this will print me. Now let's try to run and see whether we are getting the right answer, right? Okay, so this video is going to be a little longer, guys, because there are a lot of logic here, right? So it's complex logic. But okay, so why it is giving me 9 and 0? I think there is some problem here. Okay, let's try to okay, one second. So why is this problem? Okay, so now sum is fine. Now again we went inside. Okay, we went inside an array of j. Okay, okay, sorry. This should be plus plus. No, because index, because how many answers will be there, index will be always increasing. So starting with 0, because there are two elements, then it will be actually next time it will increase as well. No, let's see now. Hopefully this should be correct. Okay. Now let's try to see 15 and 9, 15 and 9, and this was my answer as well, right? 15 and 9 exactly. So this is how basically we can do. Let's try to do a little bit of dry run here. Okay. So what basically we are trying to do here is for each query, right? For each query here, we are actually taking, so query equal to length of the query, right? So in this case, we have like 1 and 2 query, right? And we are actually using two for loop, right? One is basically two for each of this query. We are actually determining left and right, and once we determine left and right, we are actually just trying to take left and right value in this for loop, and we are just getting the sum basically, right? And that sum we are storing into answer, right? So this is what basically we have to do as part of this range sum query. Okay, now let's try to understand little bit of time complexity for this part, right? So if you clearly look at it, right, what is the time complex? So first, let's see the space complexity, right? So space complexity, are we using any additional array? So we are using this array, right? But this is not kind of your space complexity. Why? Because this is being asked in your answer only, because in answer only they want the array, right? That's why this is not considered as space complexity. Space complexity, time complexity, which basically we are using it for efficiency of our program. That is the only space complexity in this case, right? So this is not time complexity, sorry, space complexity. So basically, let's see, this is 4 byte, and this is again 4 byte, somewhere around 16 byte or whatever, right? So, but it is basically a fixed kind of space, right? But if I can just say it here, okay, here maybe, okay. So guys, space complexity in this case will be order of 1. Okay. Now look at the time complexity. Okay. Time complexity is basically, what is the time complexity in this case? If you look at it, there are q query here, and then we have uh, n. This is actually running for the n time, right? Because there are n elements, right? So q into n, correct? Agree? Q into n is the space complexity, but this space complexity is sorry, time complexity, right? So this is my time complexity, this is my space complexity. But space complexity is fine, but time complexity is very very high actually, right? Which is q by n, q into n actually, which is very high. So we have to actually further reduce the time complexity. In the next problem, what we are going to do, we are going to optimize this particular solution, right? How we can optimize this particular solution, we will basically look at it, right? Which means we are going to use kind of maybe the time complexity maybe in order of n, or right, something like that basically, not q into n, right? Because this is very very high time complexity, and you have such constant like time constant, then it will actually give you TLE, time limit uh, exceeded, right? That exception. So that's the reason we will try to see the optimized way of solving this particular problem in the next video. And yeah, so that's all for this video. And guys, if you are first time on this channel, please subscribe and support me so that I can bring more and more video. And also don't forget to hit the bell notification so you get the latest update on the new videos. All right. And obviously, without asking me, please share and like the videos if you like it, if you get any value in this. All right. I'll see you soon with the next video. Until then, happy learning. God bless you. Bye.